Hey guys, welcome to the video today. Today, as you can see right here, we're actually going to get right into it. We have a unboxing of some animals we're getting. These are actually going to be for a reptile expo that we're going to in a few weeks from now. So let's jump in and see what we've got. Alright, so all of these animals came from Underground Reptiles in South Florida. We have, let's see what we have here today. Everything seems to be pretty good so far. Get that out of there. Alright. Some good packing material. It's still nice and warm inside, which is a good sign. And let's see what we have. Oh, we have some little leopard geckos here. These are Tangerine leopard geckos with these two actually have regenerated tails on them. And we have here we have some other Tangerine leopard geckos with their original tails. Alright, and we have a couple of African blue-tailed skinks right here, or five-line skinks they're also known as. Alright, everyone's looking pretty good so far. Let's get into our next box. In this next box, we have some animals that I will probably be keeping a few of them, because this is an animal that I really want to start working with. I think they're very underrated right now. They are similar to leopard geckos, but you don't see them for sale as often. They are starting to come in a lot more paint jobs now. There used to only be normals years ago when I actually had some, but they're actually starting to come in some really nice colors now. All right, get that out of the way. Again, still heat packed, nice and warm, which is good. And alright, looks like we've got a bag here. Oh, I can feel them. Alright, everything. Alright. See how they all did. There is 13 of these guys in here. Like I said, hopefully if everyone is okay, I will be keeping some to start breeding of my own. And oh, they look good. Oh, they're nice and big too. Oh, there's some pretty ones in here. All right, see if we can do this without getting bit. Oh, look at these guys. Look how pretty that is. These are African fat-tailed geckos. This right here is gonna be your normal coloration. I actually have one here in here that I saw that has. Can you put her back? Put him back. Let's see. This is one of the different kind of mutations they come in, is they have this white stripe down their back, which is a really cool pattern that some of these African fat-tailed skinks have. So that some of these African fat-tailed geckos have. They look pretty good. So we are going to get these guys set up in some new enclosures and get them fattened up a little bit before they head out to the show. So these are our animals. Let's get them in their new enclosures. Alright, so we're going to set up some temporary enclosures for our new animals. This is also what doing for any quarantining of new animals that you're getting. Easiest thing to do, easy to keep and clean them on, is just some paper towels. So we're just going to rip off some of these paper towels. Just use that as our substrate. That it keeps it nice and clean and sanitary, and it makes it really easy to clean out when you have to. When you want to change the bedding or clean the enclosure, you just have to take out the paper towels, throw it away, put some new stuff in there. We're gonna have a couple of hides for these guys. There is going to be several of them in here. So we're gonna set up a couple of hides. We're gonna have some stuff for them to climb on, just so that they can get away from each other. They don't always have to be right on top of each other. So they have lots of room to move around. Alright, so I think that will be good. You always want to provide a water dish for them. Put that right in front there. We are going to have heat on this. For your African fat-tailed geckos, it's best to have African fat-tailed or leopard geckos. It's best to have underneath belly heat, whether it be with a heat mat or a heat pad or a heat tape. You always want to make sure that if you are using those, you want to attach them to a thermostat so that it doesn't get too hot for them. For a temporary enclosure like this, I'm probably just going to use a heat lamp on top. It'll keep the enclosure warm enough. Good for them for the next few weeks that they're going to be here until they go to the next Reptile Expo with me, which if you're watching and if you're in the Northeast area, we will be at Rexpo in Rochester, New York on April 2nd. If you want to come check us out, we're going to have some African fat-tailed geckos, leopard geckos, African five-line skinks, and a couple of snakes, probably a ball python, and a couple of boa constrictors if you want to come check us out. And I might have one of our leftover, one of our Rankin's dragons that I still have left from last breeding season. So if you want to come check them out, come check us out April 2nd in Rochester, New York at Rexpo. So let's get some water in this. Give them some water. Alright. And let's get these geckos in their new temporary homes here. And see which one of them, or which couple of them, I'm going to want to start breeding for myself. I think I already found one. The one that you guys saw earlier with a nice big stripe on the back. Looks like it's probably a male, so he may be staying with me. Alright, there's our first one. Set you guys into your new home. Couple more. Like I said before, this is a temporary enclosure. I would never house this many geckos in one enclosure. And this is a 20 gallon, sorry. For one adult, these actually will probably get split up. I have an empty 40 gallon tank. These guys will probably be moving into, because it's definitely too many geckos for one 20 gallon tank like this, and that is the last one. Looks good. So like I said, this is a 20 gallon tank. I would definitely recommend this size tank for one adult. I keep all of my adult leopard geckos, which are roughly the same size as these guys, and I keep my pairs in 40 gallon tanks, which is what I would recommend for these guys too. If you have a single one of these geckos, this size tank would probably be okay for them. But seeing as I have 13 of them, this is just easier to show you guys how I would set up their enclosure, but they will be moving into a larger enclosure. Again, just with a paper towel bottom to keep them nice and clean and easy, sterile, easy to clean out. Make sure that they don't have any mites or anything like that, and no diseases. Keep them away from, the rest of your enclosure. Wash your hands whenever you're handling new animals that come in. Washing your hands before you go and touch one of your animals in your collection, so you don't spread any diseases that they may carry with them. As these guys are wild caught geckos, but I will be keeping a couple of these, so that I will be having captive offspring of these. The size of these guys, I could actually be having some captive offspring this year from these guys. If I have a couple of good sized females. Let's see, there's a couple of good sized ones here. Let's see what you are. That looks like a boy. But you're getting good sized. That one looks like a girl. So we'll go through all of these guys. I definitely want to keep a couple of these striped ones. I just like that. I just like the color patterning of having that bold white stripe down their back. So let's set up the leopard geckos. Again, there's only 4 of them, and they are much smaller than these guys, so we're going to temporarily put them in this 20-gallon, or temporarily put them in this 10-gallon enclosure. Again, with just paper towels on the bottom, easy, sanitary, easy to clean out when you need to clean them out. Just some simple stuff for them to climb on. Get it fit in there. Just to give them, just to give them something to climb on. Give them hide in there. Put that there. Maybe like that. And I'm actually also use these in a lot of my enclosures too. These simple little plastic trays. They're about maybe an inch tall. I got a 4-pack at Target for like $2, I think. And they make perfect water dishes. Nice and shallow, especially for your smaller, younger animals. So they come in and soak in them. You don't have to worry about them drowning, getting too deep in there. Really easy to clean and sanitize. Perfect little things, especially if you're keeping temporary animals, or if you're using for when you get new animals. Especially when you are quarantining new animals, easy to disinfect and clean. So we'll put a water dish in there for them. Give them a little bit of water. And get our leopard geckos. Again, these are Tangerine leopard geckos. These 2 have their full tails on them. These 2 over here, I don't know if you can see it in the picture. These 2, their tails are a lot more bulbous, round, and they're actually smoother at the end too, because they have regenerated tails. Which a lot of leopard geckos have regenerated tails. If they get scared or stepped on or dropped, or even when they're babies, one of their cage mates might nip at them, they'll drop their tails. But they always regrow their tail. Their tail looks a little bit different when it gets regrown. It's a little bit more bulbous, and it's smooth rather than scaled like the rest of their bodies. So let's get these guys into their temporary homes. See how you guys like it. Alright. You know, jump. Alright. These, of course, are definitely captive bred animals. Really don't get many wild caught leopard geckos anymore, especially you're not going to be getting any more. So these are Tangerine, which basically means that they have they're brighter orange colored than your normal leopard gecko. They're slightly different colorations. Let's get these 2 in there. So this one, if you can see, is actually starting to go through shed. It's a lot lighter than the other ones. The other guy, alright. Get you in your new home. You guys are all set up, looking good. Everyone's moving around good. Alright. So for our last skinks, we have our 5-line skinks are going to be going in this enclosure over here.